What's up, guys? Today we are going over the top 5 pros and cons of living here in Suffolk, Virginia, and we're getting after it right now. Hey guys, in this channel we go over all of the work, eat, sleep, play, everything you could possibly need to know about moving and PCSing here to Suffolk, Virginia. So if that's the information that you want, hey, hit that like button so it can help our algorithm out. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we put out new content. My name's Ed Wheeler, and I'm a sailor, obviously, and realtor with Agents of the Armed Forces, which is a company I created here in Hampton Roads. And I've partnered with a whole bunch of veteran-owned and operated businesses. And our big thing is helping fellow military PCS to Hampton Roads. It's such a difficult time for those of us that are in the military. I mean, moving in general is just a difficult time, but especially in the military when you only have, 30 days sometimes to move, it can be extremely difficult, extremely stressful. So, give us a call, shoot us a text, email, snail mail, go down below and hit that Calendly link and schedule a Zoom call with us because we'd love to have your back when it comes to PCSing to Hampton Roads. All right, guys, so today we are going over the top 5 pros and cons of living in Suffolk, Virginia. So Suffolk itself is the westernmost city of Hampton Roads. I'm going to pull up a map here. Let's dive right into it. So it's, like I said, it's the westernmost city of Hampton Roads. It's also the largest city in Hampton Roads landmass-wise at 430 square miles. So, and it doesn't have as much population as some of the other cities in Hampton Roads, so it is a little bit more widespread. And then downtown Suffolk, though, is pretty darn close to Portsmouth, because if you saw on the map there, the downtown is up north in Suffolk, and then Portsmouth is right above that. So downtown is relatively close. Downtown has a little bit more hustle and bustle than the other parts of Suffolk, but not as much hustle and bustle as, say, downtown Norfolk. If that's the type of place that you like, then Suffolk might be the place for you. But we're going to dive right into the pros right now. All right, so the top 5 pros of living in Suffolk would be a lot of homes are being built, a lot of jobs. Homes tend to be bigger. There's a lot of outdoor activities, and there's a lot of land. All right, so a lot of homes being built, right? So the reason for that is because Amazon bought a ginormous distribution center. They're building it, or they're already done, but they're trying to open it this year, the new distribution center in Suffolk. And so homes, obviously, that's going to create a lot of jobs. So there's a lot of homes being built in Suffolk right now. You can see on the MLS that there's a ton of new construction going on. There's a lot of the building companies, the builders, they're doing a lot of building in Suffolk. And so the average price of a home in Suffolk is about $325,000 right now because the market went up and everything. And that's not bad. That's pretty comparable to the rest of Hampton Roads, and that will give you a good 3-bed, 2-bath, sometimes 4-bed, 2-bath home in Suffolk, and they are generally bigger in square footage than other parts of Hampton Roads. The next thing would be jobs. So jobs are increasing, like I said, mainly because Amazon has put that distribution center in Hampton Roads, and that's going to create a lot of jobs coming into Suffolk. There's a lot of buildup going on. A lot of the upper echelon, I guess you could say, is looking to expand on Hampton Roads and make it a more bigger metropolis, if you will. So there's a lot of things going on right now to build up Hampton Roads. And one of those things is Amazon coming to Suffolk. So that creates a lot of jobs. A lot of people also like to retire from the military and go to Suffolk. It's not a bad place to retire. There's a lot of other jobs that pertain to military. For instance, Lockheed Martin is over there in Suffolk, and so is Raytheon. So you have these jobs that pertain to military jobs, and so a lot of people retire and they'll go to Suffolk and then they'll get another job and keep going. So that's another thing about Suffolk is that there are quite a few jobs in Suffolk. And then, as I stated earlier, the next thing would be homes tend to be bigger. They are bigger. They have a lot more square footage than you might find, say, in Portsmouth or you might find in downtown Norfolk, just because you have a lot more land. So the homes do tend to be a little bit bigger than you're going to find elsewhere. So if that's something that you are looking for, then Suffolk might be the right place for you. Also, in Suffolk, there are a lot of outdoor activities, a lot of hiking. You've got the Great Dismal Swamp. You've got kayaking. Some people go over there to hunt. Because there is so much land, there is quite a bit of outdoor activities that you can do. And they usually have a few festivals every year as well. So there's just a lot that you can do if you do like outdoor activities. There's a lot in Suffolk. As I keep stating, the final thing will be the land. So land is plentiful in Suffolk. There's a lot of land. It's a big agricultural area. That's where Planters Peanuts got started. So you do have a lot of land in Suffolk. So you can find homes on a little bit bigger parcel of land than you might find in Norfolk or Portsmouth, because the lots in Norfolk and Portsmouth have to be so tiny. Whereas in Suffolk, you can have, you still have neighborhoods where the houses are relatively close together, but you can also find homes that have a lot more land. You can find homes on 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre parcels of land out there in Suffolk. And if that's what you're looking for, Suffolk would be another area for you to look in that you can find a great home. All right, so now we're just going to go over the top 5 cons of living in Suffolk. Those top 5 that I would say are the distance, the schools, the reputation, the crime, and how widespread it is. Let's start with distance. So the distance from Suffolk to, if you're PCSing and you're PCSing to Norfolk, or you're going to Oceana or Dam Neck or Little Creek, the distance is pretty great. Suffolk also doesn't, have a lot of beaches, obviously. So in order to get to Virginia Beach, it's a pretty good distance. On average, if you are driving in the morning and going to just Norfolk Naval Base, then it can take you anywhere from 35 to 55 minutes to get to work every single day. So if you are a type of person that doesn't like to drive for a while, then Suffolk might not be the right place for you. But if you can stomach that drive and you want the land, or you want, a little bit bigger home, then Suffolk might be the right place for you. But the distance is there, and there are a lot of people that don't necessarily know what they're getting into, and they go, I want to live in Suffolk because they see these houses, and then they find out the distance is too great for them. So don't fall into that trap. But if you do call me, we can go over all of that stuff and find you the right place for you. Next will be the schools. There are just not as many schools in Suffolk as the other parts of Hampton Roads. Just for comparison, Portsmouth is real tiny compared to Suffolk, and Portsmouth has 22 schools, public schools, whereas Suffolk has 19. That doesn't sound like a lot of a difference. However, when you are living in an area that is 430 square miles and only 19 public schools, that does make a difference. You have a bigger area that is covered by each school. They're also not rated as highly as other schools in the area. For instance, Chesapeake is one of the highest rated areas for schools. However, they're not bad either, but they're just not rated as highly. But the big thing, like I said, is that there's just not that many. So there are more elementary schools than anything else in Suffolk, and that there are 11 of them. Then you have middle schools, which drops down over half, and there's only 5 middle schools in all of Suffolk. And then there's only 3 high schools for all of Suffolk. So if your kid is in high school, be prepared that it might take them a little bit to get home from school, because there's only 3 of them in all of Suffolk. And that limits your choices too. So those 3, they're a little bit on the lower spectrum for rating, then you only have 3. And depending on where you are in Suffolk, that determines which school you are going to. So, like I said, you can always give me a call. We can go over it and figure out the right area for you. Then you have reputation. So the reputation that I've been told about Suffolk, it's just like the rest of Hampton Roads. There's nothing good about it. I think reputations they're just opinions. So everybody has their own opinion, and you should have the right to judge it based on how you see it. If you like a bunch of land, Suffolk might be good for you. If you don't, Suffolk might not be good for you. But the reputation is that there's nothing good in Suffolk. If you see some of the comments on some of my other videos, people have commented saying there's nothing good. I mean, like I said, it's an opinion. So it's up to you to decide whether or not it's good. I can say that it's not bad. It's not necessarily my cup of tea because of the distance. My wife would probably have a difficult time if I was, trying to take an hour to get to work and an hour to come home every day. She would probably not like that very much. So it's up to you. Now, the next thing is crime. So crime, it's not pro, but I'm not sure it's necessarily a con either. It's just what people say. So crime is mainly centered around the downtown Suffolk area. And so that's where basically the rest of Suffolk gets kind of a bad name when it comes to crime. It says that there's more crime in Suffolk. However, it's all centered around downtown Suffolk. If you go outside of that and you're getting a place where there's a couple acres between houses, there's not as much crime. So just take that with a grain of salt when you're looking things up online, because crime is based on the whole city. The reputation of crime is based on the whole city and not just in one particular area, whereas the actual crime itself is mainly centered in downtown Suffolk and not the other parts of Suffolk. And then finally, like I said, it's just how widespread it is. This one's kind of my personal con, just because me personally, I like to be around things. I like to talk to my neighbors, things of that sort. And so being widespread, like I said, though, there are neighborhoods in Suffolk that, they are still close together. So you do have that neighborly feel to them. However, the schools being that far, how far it is to drive to work, things like that, for me, it's not, what I would want. However, if you like some of the other pros where the homes tend to be bigger and all that kind of stuff, then widespread may not become a factor for you. So it all depends on what you are looking for. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the top 5 pros and cons of living in Suffolk, Virginia. And if you did like this video, give us a thumbs up. It helps our algorithm. We greatly appreciate it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we put out new content. And of course, my name's Ed Wheeler with Agents of the Armed Forces. If you are PCSing to Hampton Roads, we want to take that stress away from you. So give us a call, shoot us a text, message us on Facebook, write us an email, click that link down below to schedule a Zoom call through Calendly. We would love to hear from you because we've got your back when PCSing to Hampton.